A group of Hampton Roads quilt makers is using needle and thread to honor the 100th anniversary of Black History Month. Over at the Chesapeake Central Library, 100 quilts are on display, each telling a story about African American culture. Brittany Miller sat down with a woman whose quilt represents a trait her family has shared for many generations. Brittany.
Dana, Bobbie Moore says quilting lets you design and create things you didn't know existed. That's exactly what she did when she sewed together her family's military heritage, dating all the way back to World War I.
All quilts tell stories.
Every February, Bobbie Moore hangs up a quilt in her home that tells her family's story.
The military legacy of my family.
Moore describes herself as a military brat. Her dad was a soldier, then both she and her brother joined the Air Force.
As I was retiring, the question just came up, and sometimes that's what happens with quilts. It's like, what if?
That question on her mind that would soon be answered in the needle of her sewing machine. How many people in her family have served in the military?
That was the beginning of approximately a 2-year endeavor to detail our military genealogy.
Using online resources, local registrar's offices, oral history, and even draft cards. Moore learned that her family and the U.S. Armed Forces had been stitched together since World War I, finding more than 35 relatives who were veterans.
I wonder how it would have informed my career just knowing that.
She then pulled out her sewing machine and brought their history to life, incorporating photos and honoring the flag with stars that have each military branch embroidered into them.
If you served in the Army, then I used actual Army uniforms to make your block. If you served in the Air Force, then I had the wonderful experience of working with polyester.
This Black History Month, Moore's military family heritage quilt isn't on display in her home. It's at the Chesapeake Central Library.
Quilts traditionally being for comfort and covering, but we took it to another level.
Janice Johnson says quilts have an important role in Black history. So to honor the 100th anniversary of Black History Month, the ladies of the African American Social Threaders Guild adorned the library with 100 quilts.
We tried to do, and it was my goal to do a Black history exhibit each year.
Moore says at first she didn't think she had any quilts that would fit this year's theme of Black resistance, the Underground Railroad, and beyond.
And then they also about quilts that honored African American history. I just happened to think about that quilt and I thought, that is African American history.
So between the quilts made of traditional African fabrics and the images of Harriet Tubman is Bobbie Moore and her family's military heritage.
People look at it, when they look at, oh, that's a lot of people, I go, no, those are my people.
Moore says all of her family members on the quilt who are still alive had the chance to see it and touch it. Brittany Miller, 13 News Now.
All right, Brittany, thanks. Beautiful quilts. The 100 quilt exhibit is on display at the Chesapeake Central Library until the end of the month.